Hello, Ms Alavi here. I hope you're all well and looking after yourselves, keeping yourselves nice and busy. I've got a book for you here called The Girl Who Never Made Mistakes. So let's see what this is all about. This is about a girl called Beatrice who never made mistakes. Beatrice Bottomwell began Friday like any other day. She woke up early and it couldn't come round too soon for her. There she is, waking up. She matched her socks and, of course, she put on her shoes on the proper feet. She remembered to feed her hamster, called Humbert, his favourite food of broccoli. And when she made a sandwich for her brother Carl's lunch, she used exactly the same amount of peanut butter as she did jam, or jelly, as they call it in America. So there she is, making a sandwich for her little brother. Okay. She does everything perfectly. When she stepped outside to greet her fans, she didn't forget to say good morning, and she always said thank you. So there she is. She's very famous, and we'll find out why in a minute. There she is with all her fans. They asked her if she'd made her bed, and she had. They asked if she'd forgotten to do her homework, and of course she hadn't. She'd done her homework. What about tonight's talent show? They asked. I'm ready, said Beatrice, with a smile. After all, her juggling act had won 3 years in a row. Most people didn't actually know Beatrice's name. They just called her the girl who never makes mistakes, because for as long as anyone could remember, she never did. There she is. Okay, she never, ever makes a mistake. Unlike Beatrice, Carl, her younger brother, he made lots of mistakes. He ate his crayons and he drew with his green beans. He danced with his hands and played piano with his feet. Carl loved making mistakes. At school that day, Beatrice was cooking with her team, with her 2 best friends, Millie and Sarah. To make the giant rhubarb muffins, they needed 4 eggs. Beatrice went to the refrigerator and carefully chose the biggest, eggiest eggs she could find. But on the way back, her leg slipped from under her and the eggs went flying. There she is, dropping the eggs. Beatrice wasn't about to make a mistake though. Oh no. And she didn't. That was close, thought Beatrice. There she is. She's caught them, one on her foot, one in each hand and one in her mouth. For the rest of the school day, though, Beatrice couldn't stop thinking about her almost mistake. It was on her mind, it was bothering her. On her way home from school, Beatrice watched Millie, Sarah ice skating in the park. Come and join us, they said. It's fun, said Sarah. Beatrice watched them slip and slide on the frozen pond. Millie and Sarah laughed as they wobbled on the ice. No thanks, said Beatrice. There they are. And there she is. She doesn't want to take the risk of hurting herself and having another mistake. At supper, Beatrice barely touched her food. Is everything all right, kiddo? Asked her father. I'm worried I'm going to mess up tonight, said Beatrice, and everyone will be watching. Worry? Oh, you shouldn't worry. You don't make mistakes, he said with a smile. Beatrice smiled too. She wasn't convinced. After supper, Beatrice got ready for her talent show. First, she woke up Humbert, her hamster, from his nap. Next, she got her salt shaker from the kitchen table. And finally, she filled her balloon with water. Okay, there she is. The school auditorium was packed when she got there. Beatrice felt her stomach jumping around inside her. Beatrice waited for her juggling music to begin. That's her. That's the girl who never makes mistakes, said a woman. Oh, we know she'll be perfect, said one man. When the music started, she tossed Humbert in the air. Next, she added the salt shaker, and then finally the balloon. So she does an act where she juggles with her hamster, Humbert, a salt and pepper shaker, and a balloon. And there they are, all going up in the air at one time. Beatrice didn't miss a beat. The crowd clapped with delight, but Beatrice noticed something about the salt shaker that was a bit odd. There were specks falling from it and they weren't white. Achoo! There you go. It's not white, it's probably going to be pepper that's coming out, so that might have made Humbert sneeze. Humbert was so surprised by the sneeze that he grabbed the water balloon with his little claws and kabloo! The water balloon burst. Humbert, pieces of water balloon and pepper all rained down on Beatrice. For the first time in as long as anyone could remember, Beatrice had made a mistake, and it was a big one. She doesn't look very happy, neither does Humbert. The music stopped. Beatrice didn't know what to do. Cry, run off stage. She looks miserable, look at her, and soaked. What will she do? The crowd sat completely stunned. They couldn't believe that the girl who never made mistakes had made a mistake. Beatrice looked up at Humbert, who was on her head. He looked back at her. His hamster fur was soaked with speckled bits of balloon. Beatrice let out a little giggle. The giggle grew into a chuckle, and the chuckle became a huge laugh. There she is. The people in the crowd looked at each other, then they looked back at Beatrice. Then they began to giggle, and that turned into a chuckle, and finally into a roar of laughter. Beatrice and the audience laughed and laughed until they couldn't stop. They actually forgot what they were laughing about. They laughed so much. There they are. Everyone's laughing. That night, Beatrice slept better than she ever had, and in the morning, there were no fans greeting her at her door. When she got dressed, Beatrice, for no reason at all, put on a polka dot sock and then a plain sock as well. 2 different socks. Beatrice and Carl made sandwiches for their lunch, and this time they put the peanut butter and the jelly on the outside. They called it the inside out PB&J. Lunch was messy and delicious. Later, Beatrice found Millie and Sarah skating in the park, and she joined them. They fell a lot, and they laughed a lot too. Now, people no longer called her the girl who never made mistakes. They just called her Beatrice. And there she is, just being a normal girl. So all that time she'd spent trying to be Miss Perfect, and eventually she allowed herself to make a mistake, and it was good fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you all very soon. Take care.